welcome back into the show. And now we welcome our guy from the Sporting News who covers it all and does a great job with all of it, Mr. Bill Bender. And Bill, I mean, you were writing about firings every Sunday night. Now on Monday nights, you get to write about the hirings in college football. Your initial reactions to the details around the James Franklin hiring, what it is going to look like, and maybe his level of success that he's going to have there.
It's about identity, and I think Virginia Tech has lacked that since Frank Beamer retired, and I like the fit. For James Franklin, it's a nice spot if he's committed to staying there. Obviously, I think he'll improve the recruiting there. Their average recruiting class the last 50 years is barely top 50. I think he'll increase that. You talk about identity. I've been telling people, if you kind of close your eyes, think about Virginia Tech football, you would think about Friday night and Beamer ball and block punts and Michael Vick.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that in years. So, maybe they can steal a couple top 10 victories. And as you guys were just talking about, it doesn't take, raise your hand if you want to win the ACC this year. It doesn't take much to get back in contention in that conference.
Hey, well, Bill, I met somebody that like the other day. I think it's the Currys. Am I not mistaken? Yeah, man. Yeah, it's funny. I was giving all your aliases to them, and I don't think she actually understood what they meant. Doesn't matter. She's as pure as the driven snow, so it's okay. Hey, real fast. So we were talking a little bit before about Lane Kiffin, LSU, Florida. You got the Penn State job. Pat Fitzgerald interviewing there. Great dude. Would be a great fit there. What are you hearing in the weeds that you are week in and week out of some of these hirings where they could go? And honestly, Bill, why would somebody want to leave a place, aka like an Ole Miss, because you have everything that you want? You're the one that built it. You can have longevity while you're there. Like, give everybody a little nuggets as to what you're seeing take place in this coaching hiring cycle.
Well, first off, if you were talking to the Currys, they're Hudson's, I believe you coached Hudson, and their parents were in college with me. So every story they tell about me is not true. Let's start there. Some of them might be a little true, but Lane Kiffin fascinates me because I believe he's going on McAfee here today. It could go anywhere. And I've been reminding people all the way through that, hey, think about his exit from Tennessee. Think about his exit from the Raiders, from USC. Even Alabama. I recalled when he was an offensive coordinator for a semifinal, and then Sark was the offensive coordinator for the title game. And that was during the 4-team era. So for the people that say there's no way he could leave during a playoff run, I don't know. I really don't. So I think Lane Kiffin, we all know he likes attention. His Twitter page reads a little bit like a fortune cookie. And when you read one of those, you really don't know what it means sometimes. So I don't have any insider information other than what you guys were talking about, right? That if he went to these places, if his family was at Florida and LSU, how would you guys read into that? I read into it like there's a decent chance he's coaching somewhere else next year.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think of that. And reportedly Ole Miss had given him an ultimatum where they want to know by the Egg Bowl if he's going to be leaving or not. I don't know how they would enforce that. You're going to fire the guy and then have to pay his buyout while he goes somewhere else as opposed to getting money if he leaves. It's such a weird time and space with what's going on. I want to pop back since Sykes jumps all over the place to James Franklin. It's a fit. There's a regional element to it. They said that they had invested heavily in NIL. Upwards of $200 million is going to be heading their way for athletics or football or whatever it is to make a commitment to get this done. But could this hurt Penn State, Bill, with his connections into that Washington, Baltimore, the DMV area, with how well he had done on the East Coast? And, he's people can question him as an in-game coach. And listen, there's a lot of questions there, more than answers. But his ability to run a program and recruit has never been questioned. And now they're going to be right in Penn State's backyard, probably going after a lot of his same hot spots.
Absolutely. And he recruited at a high level. And I mentioned Vic earlier. Well, who do you think about with Penn State? Two guys you see every Sunday, Saquon Barkley and Micah Parsons. He recruited those guys to Penn State. So, and when you guys were playing in college, I would make the argument that Virginia Tech was a higher visibility program than Penn State at the time. At the time, it was close. They were 10 wins, BCS Bowl every year type program. So if he can recruit there, and like you said, the regional fit of that hire, that's part one. Part two, who is Penn State going to hire? We don't know. A lot of the guys
who do you think, Bill? Who do you think? Who would be a good fit at Penn State in the Big Ten? Who would that guy be?
All of those guys have signed extensions. Signetti, Rule, Braum, Elko. That's like the top four. I know Brian Hartline gets mentioned all the time, but I mean, unless there's some insider knowledge there, I don't know if I'm leaving Ohio State if I'm Brian Hartline. I mean, look at the setup he has there, and the being able to recruit the receivers at the level that he's recruited. I mean, that's the best infomercial for his career over anything else. So honestly, I have no idea. And that's part of the reason why I'm thinking James Franklin firing him and moving on from him, while you could argue it was time, you have to have a backup plan. And right now, I have no idea who's going to take the Penn State job. And that's part of the problem for them.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, Bill, to see that and, trying to figure that out, because they said Fitzy, I think he would be a good hire there. I know that, that this is just one job that's being filled. We haven't even talked. Lane can only go to either LSU or Florida. And if that happens, then the Ole Miss job comes open again. So there's still going to be a lot of room and a lot of movement on this carousel. Do you think there's any other hirings before the end of November, I guess, or at least before the regular season is done?
Oh, there'll be some during rivalry week. I am so used to getting, as you know, I cover Ohio State, Michigan pretty much every year, getting in the press box, getting settled in, and inevitably somebody gets hired right when I sit down. So I would anticipate we have some of that, and I'm always ready and prepared for it. I do think whatever Lane Kiffin decides to do will dictate a lot of what's next. And one other thing I wanted to mention about him, they have the 7th best record among Power 4 programs in college football since 22. That's a 4-year period. And the schools above them are, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, Michigan. So my question is, he better really want to leave if he's going to leave, because he's done a very good job at Ole Miss. There's some security there. You go to LSU or Florida, there's a risk that, look at the track record of their coaches. You might not be there for more than 5 years, but it's Lane being Lane. It's certainly entertaining. And we're all kind of waiting to see what he does, because I think it'll unlock what's next.